Yo!
As you probably know, the food we eat gets broken down by our bodies to be used as fuel. This supports growth and repair and creates energy reserves for days that we might be running low. Your metabolic health is a marker of how well your body is able to carry out these processes. When you understand how these processes work in your body, you can use food, sleep, and exercise to improve your ability to oxidize fat, keep your cardiovascular system healthy, and have greater longevity. Who doesn't want that? See, our cells convert glucose obtained from carbs, proteins, and fats into energy. Sometimes certain foods may cause spikes in your blood glucose levels, and this can bring down your metabolic health if left unchecked for long periods of time. It also makes you more prone to chronic conditions like diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, obesity, fatty liver disease, PCOS, sleep apnea, and others. So stay on top of your metabolic health by keeping your blood glucose, insulin sensitivity, and oxidative stress in check. That's where we come in. Ultrahuman Cyborg helps you measure your overall metabolic health through the metabolic score. It's calculated during the course of the day based on your diet, sleep, exercise, and stress levels. The score resets to 100 at midnight, and your goal is to score as high as possible. Think of the metabolic score as a guide to your metabolic health in real time based on your glucose variability, average glucose, and time in your target range. Glucose variability describes how stable your glucose levels are throughout the day. A low glucose variability helps reduce oxidative stress and improve energy levels and cognitive performance. There are many reasons for fluctuations in your glucose levels. The most common ones are food, sleep, and stress levels. Oxidative stress disrupts your body's natural oxidation process. This happens when there's an imbalance between antioxidant and free radical activity. The average glucose score indicates your body's ability to utilize glucose. When your body is unable to utilize glucose properly, the glucose sticks to your red blood cells and accumulates over time. High average glucose can indicate that your body is unable to utilize glucose in an efficient way, and this might happen due to dietary habits, insulin resistance, and lack of recovery due to disease or strenuous exercise. This can have an impact on your metabolic score. There are various reasons that can cause your average glucose to fluctuate. Insufficient sleep causes a higher than normal rise in blood sugar levels. Stress can lead to either a spike or a crash because of the various hormones released. And a lack of physical activity, consuming high GI foods, or alcohol causes fluctuations too. The time in target range is a percentage that measures if you've been within the recommended range. Based on various studies, Ultrahuman Cyborg's recommended range is between 70 to 110 milligrams per deciliter, a unit of measurement. A 100% time in target means that you were within the range and didn't go out of bounds at all. The time in target range doesn't just measure the inflammatory zone of glucose, which is the higher range, but also measures the impact of the lower range, which might affect your cognitive performance and recovery. Glucose levels going beyond the recommended levels lead to glucose spikes or hyperglycemia. Ultrahuman Cyborg's algorithms define a spike beyond 120 as a hyperglycemic event. There could be many reasons for this. Eating foods that rank high on the glycemic index, like simple carbs and sugar, could cause a spike. Caffeine intake can also cause a spike, which is why drinking coffee or tea after a meal is discouraged, since blood sugar levels are already elevated. Poor sleep and high stress levels could also cause high blood sugar. When this becomes frequent, it could lead to metabolic diseases. Whenever there's a glucose spike, the body responds by producing more insulin to reduce your blood sugar. This causes a drop in energy levels, causing tiredness and lethargy. This glucose crash can be felt by some as that post-meal mid-afternoon slump, and no one wants that. When blood sugar falls below 70, it's called hypoglycemia, which can also lead to a metabolic disease if left unchecked for long periods. Hypoglycemia can be controlled through diet. Complex carbs, fiber and protein and fermented foods are good for smoothing the glucose response curve. I'm sure you can tell by now that maintaining glucose levels has a positive impact on metabolic health, which has many benefits. Better cardiovascular health and cognitive function, reduced inflammation and protection against metabolic diseases, improved overall energy levels, and better weight management. Ultrahuman Cyborg measures the impact of your diet on your body through a food score. Each person's food response is different and greatly affected by the timing too. For every 2-hour food intake window, Ultrahuman Cyborg calculates a food score based on glucose changes and your glucose peak in that period. These scores are measured on a scale of 1 to 10, with foods that are good for your metabolic health scoring high. If food scores less than 5, it's probably either bad for you or needs to be eaten at a different time. For example, having dessert after lunch might be better for you than having it after breakfast. You can directly see the impact of foods on your glucose graph and food score. It'll help you track and tweak your diet to serve you better. The glucose zone and the stability of your glucose levels during a workout determine your activity fueling score. This score is calculated on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest. This score depends on the time you spent in each glucose zone during your activity. They range from underfueled to low intensity to high intensity to overfueled. Being underfueled during your workout means that you are below the lower limit of 80. When this happens, your body is not allowed enough glucose as per the intensity of your workout. This affects the performance and may also affect optimal cognitive functioning. While being overfueled for a workout does not necessarily improve performance, glucose spikes over 140 may lead to hyperglycemia and eventually chronic inflammation or lipogenesis. As you can see, glucose can tell you a lot about your body. You can improve focus, longevity, and athletic performance by studying the glucose patterns from your Ultrahuman Cyborg. There are 3 metabolic vectors that help you understand and visualize this. The focus vector helps you maximize your cognitive abilities throughout the day. It's calculated on a scale of 10, and you can get a top score by eating foods that create a stable glucose response. This ensures you're well fueled and spikes or crashes are avoided. The longevity vector tracks the impact of your glucose levels on longevity and lifespan. This vector is made of 3 components: circadian factor, glucose variability, and peaks above 120. The third vector on Ultrahuman Cyborg is the athletic vector. This vector tells you how well fueled you were for a workout, which in turn ensures peak performance. This is an average of all your activity fueling scores for the day. That's not all. Ultrahuman Cyborg also offers exclusive access to performance coaches who can help you understand your metabolic health better and optimize your lifestyle. Think of them as your own personal performance coaching team, made up of sports scientists and certified exercise physiologists. Your coaches have years of experience training elite athletes and designing performance and rehab training programs. Whatever your fitness goals are, your coaches will work with you to reach them. They're available in the section under the Metabolism tab on the app. With your consent, they can access your health data to make suggestions on how to improve your health and fitness, motivate you, and answer every question. Don't forget to come say hi.